Hey, what's up guys? This is Tariq Ali from smartbytrainers.com, where I review smart trainers and talk about indoor training and other fitness gadgets. If you are new here, make sure you click the subscribe button and the bell icon to get notified of new videos. So this is the new Garmin Edge 530, and it might be a better bike computer than the 520 or 520 Plus on paper, but is it really any better? Almost a year ago, Garmin announced the 520 Plus, an upgrade to the Edge 520 with minor navigation upgrade, but it was also plagued with performance issues and was very slow when using navigation. According to Garmin, the new Edge 530 received a faster processor that gave it a very good bump in performance, which you can definitely see when navigating maps, zooming in and out of maps, and calculating routes. Okay, so the best way to explain the Edge 530 is to tell you what's different versus the regular Edge 520 or 520 Plus. And this is everything that's different. So the big 7 are a faster processor, bigger screen, full navigation maps including trails and climb data, mountain bike dynamics, training plans API support, bike alarm, find my edge feature, and a bunch of other performance related metrics. And oh yeah, Bluetooth support. Yes, we finally got Bluetooth support from Garmin. Garmin this year is finally supporting Bluetooth and adding Bluetooth support on its devices. So the price, the Edge 530 retails for $300, which is similar price point as the Edge 520 when it was first released. So kudos to Garmin for adding a ton of features and keeping the price somewhat reasonable. And it is $100 cheaper than the Edge 830 and $300 cheaper than the 1030. But keep in mind that you can get the 520 now for around $200 or even less. And I still think the Edge 520 is one of the best bike computers Garmin released in the past 10 years or so. So something to consider if you are looking for a bike computer and don't care much about navigation or mountain bike dynamics. So first, the big screen. The Edge 530 has a 2.6-inch screen compared to the 2.3-inch of the 520 and better resolution. A thick bezel is still there on top and bottom and sides. So to make the screen bigger, Garmin made the 530 about 13% bigger than the 520. Now, this might not be that big of a deal for most road cyclists, mountain bikers, but not so much for triathletes. Space comes at a premium on a tri-bike. Finding a space to mount a big bike computer isn't that easy on a tri-bike. Actually, one of the reasons I went from a Garmin 510 to a 520 was the smaller size of the 520. The screen has auto brightness set to on by default. Using it outdoor, I found the screen to be bright enough and easy to read on a bright sunny day. However, when indoors, I found it to be a little bit on the darker side, so you might need to adjust that brightness setting a little bit. The Edge 530 looks really clean, even though the Edge has a total of 7 buttons. On the right side, you'll find the select or enter button on top and the return or back button on the bottom. 3 buttons on the left side, the up, down navigation buttons, and the power on and off button. The start, stop, and lap buttons are placed on the bottom of the device with a mini USB charger port in the middle. Not a big fan of the placement of the start, stop, and lap button, but that's alright with me. The buttons all blend in well with the unit. The power button has a little red color on it, and you have a big Garmin logo on the front and the top of the screen. Right below the device mount, you will find 5 electrical contacts to use with Garmin battery pack, something new Garmin added to the Edge 5 and 800 series. Next is the navigation. Garmin added a full load of navigation features with the full street names, turn-by-turn navigation, rerouting, global trail data, and climb pro data, showing climb related information such as gradient information, how much distance remaining, average gradient, total elevation, and ascent remaining. Pretty cool stuff, but unfortunately for the climb data to work, you have to preload a course, which I don't really do that often unless I am in a new area, but you'll find the navigation maps a lot easier to read than the previous devices. Mountain bike dynamics. If you are a mountain biker, upgrading to the 530 is probably a no-brainer. The Edge 530 tracks jump count, jump distance, and hang time, as well as grit and flow score. Hang time. That's pretty cool. I need to get into mountain biking. The grit score is basically a measure of the trail difficulty. The higher grit score, the more difficult the trail is. And a flow score, which tracks the smoothness of your descent. The smoother you are during descents, the better flow score you'll achieve. Training plan API. This opens up the door for other apps to load up training plans onto your Edge device. Right now, Training Peaks supports this, and we'll see more apps support this in the future, such as Trainer Road. I'm actually pretty excited about this. Anyone else? No? As for battery life, Garmin says you should get up to 20 hours normal use with GPS or extendable to 40 hours with the optional Garmin Charge Power Pack or in battery save mode. Finally, Garmin added a bunch of other training and analytics related features such as heat or elevation acclimation, power curve data, hydration and nutrition smart alerts, and a bunch of other stuff that you may or might not find useful. So yes, too many features that you probably never going to use. I personally don't see anything wrong with that, having all these features. I think the device will appeal to a wider audience that way, and for any one person, you might find yourself using only about 10 or 20% of what the device can actually do. But if you ever wanted to take on a new activity or track a different metric, you'll most likely find it here. Also, a lot of the metrics, training alerts, race predictors, hydration, acclimation, all rely on data that you feed to Garmin. If you feed it wrong data or missing data, you're gonna get bad data or funny data back. Like now, it's showing me as unproductive. I won't say I've been productive in my training lately, but thanks Garmin. You also have the options to turn on bike alarm when you are away from your bike. So for example, you stopped at a gas station or a bathroom break during your long ride, you can turn on the alarm. And if someone tries to move your bike or steal it, it will start beeping and you will get a notification on your phone. Now your phone has to be paired to your Garmin Edge and in close distance for you to get those notifications. Also, there is a new Find My Edge feature. Basically, it will register the last GPS location of your Edge, and if you are close enough to your Edge, you can send an alarm to your Edge and it will start beeping for you. So that's basically it. That's everything new with the device, but what about the stuff that they did not add? Still, there is a very limited interaction between the Garmin Edge and their mobile app or Garmin Connect. They sort of talk to each other, but on limited terms. So for example, you get some notification like text messages, phone call alerts, weather data, and some other type of alerts. Some performance related metrics transfer to your device and some don't, like personal records, for example. This whole thing is still kind of confusing to me and just don't understand their logic behind it. And you still cannot control or customize your Edge or any Garmin device through your phone. And this is really a big deal for me. I don't know about you and everyone else, but the fact that we can do everything on our phone these days and still can't manage the device using our phone and have to rely on a small buttons to customize fields, pages, and navigate through confusing menus kind of irks me a bit, and it's behind times. Other than that, is it worth the upgrade from a 520? I would say yes if you are looking for better navigation or if you are a mountain biker. But if you are just a road cyclist, a triathlete, and already own the Edge 520 or 820 and don't care much about navigation, I'm not sure there is enough to upgrade. Let me know what you think. I would love to know what you are most curious about and what you want to know about the Edge 530, and let's talk about it down in the comment section. Hope you enjoyed this video. Hit the thumbs up if you did, share it, and thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.